Hey guys, so the last thing we're going to do for week 3 deep dive is going to be a leaderboard. So this is going to show the person with the highest score and as well as their username. So to do this, we're going to click on our intro screen and we're going to do a couple of things first over here. So the first thing we're going to do is go into variables and we're going to add a show variable in between the show and go to X, Y block, and we're going to add 2 of them. The first one is going to say high score, and the second one is going to say score. So we want them to show our variables every time we play our game. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is go to the yellow events tab, add when I receive, and we're going to add a new message and call this game over and click on OK. So when the game is over, what I want to do now is I want to hide these 2 variables. I don't want them to show anymore, and I want to show something else. So I'm going to go into the variable tab, add 2 hide blocks. So hide variable, and change one of them to score. So hide high score and hide score. Now, to make a leaderboard, the first thing I need is to make a list. So that will keep every information that I need, both score and the name of the person that scored. So I'm going to make a list. I'm going to call this score and click on OK. And then I'm going to make another list and call this name. So this is the name of the user that won. So now we're going to go back up here. And we should now unlock a couple of new blocks for our list. And what we're going to do is we're going to hide list when our green flag is clicked, so we don't want that to show up. And we're going to hide it for both the name and the score. And then when our game over is shown, that's when we're going to show our list for both our name and our score. Next, you want to go ahead and move these somewhere that you want. So maybe I want my name first, and then I want my score. And I'll have them about here. So you guys can move them wherever you guys want to on your screen. Okay. Once you've positioned it, the next thing you want to go ahead and do is create how many saved player scores you want to have. So for this example, we're just going to do 5. So the top 5 placements are what's going to be saved. So I'm going to go into control and I'm going to add an if then. Inside of the else bracket, I'm going to add another if then else. And I'm going to do this again. One more time. So this gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 placements. The last if then else, I'm just going to do an if then, and that will give me my 5 placement slots. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this now. Okay. So now inside of the if for each of them, and they're going to be relatively the same, we're going to go into our sensing, and we're going to use the greater than symbol. We're going to go into variable, and on the empty bubble, we're going to do score. So when our score is greater than, and we're going to use item 1 of score, then we want it to change our score. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate this and add this for my first slot. I'm going to duplicate this again. This one is going to be 2 for my second place. I'm going to duplicate this again. Change this for my third place. Duplicate this again. Change this for my fourth place. And this one I'm not going to duplicate. I'm just going to make 5, and that's going to be my 5th place. Okay. So now what's going to happen when my score is greater than my first slot what I want to do is I want to now insert that information. So insert thing at 1 of name. So what are we inserting? Well, we're going to insert the score that they got. So we're going to click on the variable tab and add the score bubble. And we want to make this on our scored list. So this is where the score is going to show up. So now we're going to duplicate this, remove this. Now this time around, with the score being inserted, what else do I want to insert? Their username. So I'm going to go into sensing. I'm going to scroll down until I see this username bubble, and I'm going to fill it in. And then I'm changing the score to name. So now I'm inserting both the score and the name. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So for my first slot, I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to duplicate this again and add it for my second slot, and this time I'm going to change it to 2, 2. I'm going to duplicate this again, insert it on my third slot, change this to 3, 3. Duplicate this again, change this to 4, 4. And then lastly, put this in and change it to 5, 5. Now, the only problem is this will continue adding even more scores even if we don't want them to. So to make sure that we only keep all 5 scores, what we're going to go ahead and do is add another block of code. So I'm going to go into events and I'm going to add when I receive game over, I want to forever repeat until, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this. So when my score is greater than my item 1, and that's going to push everything down, what I want to do now is go into variable, and I want to delete 6 of score, and I'm going to duplicate this and delete 6 of name. So this is going to keep deleting all the extra ones until only the top 5 scores remain. Okay, so this is not going to automatically work, only because, again, we're never broadcasting our game over. That's going to be done during next week's, so you'll be able to see this fully working. If you do want to try it out, you can just click on broadcast, play a little bit, click on the broadcast, and then see if it saves your work. But other than that, you should be able to test it out once you create the game over screen and you have a little bit of code for the game over. But this is essentially what we've created in order to do the leaderboard for our game.